bank. And some people are like this. Like years ago, I switched to a different bank because they had a better mobile app. It was faster.
Yeah. So it's interesting that you mentioned that, and I just want to ask a question just to clarify this for our listeners, because obviously we're all about the data-driven design. So we like to understand, we like to make decisions based on data. But you make a good point, and we live in Google Analytics, we live in a lot of other analytics platforms to let data drive the next action. But your point being, if the platform has only given users a finite amount of options, of course the data is going to be somewhere within those options versus the data that you can get. You just get the user to have a conversation with you, which is really powerful stuff. So
that's the problem with measuring, right? We only measure what's easy to measure.
Yeah. So say we were to build a skill. Can any business, obviously with a developer who is a solid developer, can any business build a skill that will literally just aggregate the data of what the user is asking within the experience? Like, is that what you're saying, or are you saying something a little bit different than that?
What I'm saying is understand how an actual human being would navigate a conversation that you've defined.
Okay.
Because, you've built a skill, without getting too developer-y, like, as building things, you never hear people. That Alexa's the one that hears an Amazon customer. That's never shared. Basically, what you get as a developer, think of it like this. This is the best non-techie version, I would say, is that you have a contract for conversation. And that conversational contract says stuff like this. I can answer questions about heart rates, and I can answer questions about shoe sizes and all that. And the only thing Alexa does is she'll go to you and say, I have a question about shoe size. Right? You never asked, you never know how that person asked for it or anything. That's where all the magic is happening, is that Alexa, think of it as a way, and she tries to be as accurate as possible. And that's where the real skill, no pun intended, comes into building these skills, is making that accuracy very high so that no matter how they ask for things, it gets to what they want.
Yep.
And that's basically what's happening. And so let's say you defined 100 of these different things it could do. That's where it gets really interesting, though. Because let's say the person didn't know those 100 things, none of them helped my question. You'll see that fell off. And so then you're like, oh, okay, maybe I should start asking customers. This didn't help, what might help. And so it's you learn over time. And you know that you're answering most of the stuff in a specific process when you don't see that fall off.
Cool. So the thing that intrigues me the most, I think right now, is Alexa for Business. And I think the reason why is because I think that everyone in business right now, whether they own a business or whether they're a marketer, a developer, or what operations person or whatever role they have, and regardless of how long experience they have in their industry, I think everybody, and this just might be my opinion, but it seems to me that most people think of Alexa that I talk to and interact with as like a B2C, like they might have one in their home and they're using it they might be using it for entertainment or for the blueprint stuff that you talked about, which seems awesome. I don't want my kids doing one to make fun of me, but the make fun of dad thing's kind of a funny idea. But what I'm getting at is Alexa for Business is intriguing to me because I envision, and the skill that we built is one that allows marketers or business owners or whoever to just ask Alexa how their web traffic is doing rather than have to log into their analytics platform. And so we're just that. So Alexa for Business seems to have things that are super practical, like the ability to set up a conference room or schedule a conference room. Can you talk about, I guess, what Alexa for Business is now and sort of what is the goal for Alexa for Business in the long term? Is it a B2B? Is it a way for businesses to build, like for developers like us to build skills that help other businesses just be more productive? Is it a way for businesses to use pre-existing things that Amazon has built or already hooked up through blueprints, or is it all of the above? I'm just super intrigued by Alexa for Business.
Yeah, this is how I would unpack it. So, you're absolutely right. Alexa was a consumer product. You could get Alexa in all sorts of different things. Echo just happens to be a hardware from Amazon that has Alexa in it. And we quickly heard from customers, hey, it reminds me of the bringing computers PCs in the back door in large enterprises back in the day because the mainframes were taking too long, right? And then we started all bring our own laptops and then our own phones. And so we would hear that all the time of, hey, this is great. Like I'm bringing my Echo from home. So what happens when you're an enterprise and that's going on? You need a way to manage that, right? And so Alexa for Business, that's really where that came out. So don't confuse that with business skills because there are categories for that. Like what you talked about, you can make a KPI and show specific things for skills. But let's say you only want it for it to be an internal skill available for your company. Then that's where an Alexa for Business comes in because you can enroll users in that. And what's great about that is once I'm enrolled, it also works on my consumer device. And so if I'm using the same kind of email, so let's say I'm at home, I'm getting my coffee in the morning before I go to work, I can ask for the KPI about the sales data for the Mid-Atlantic State District or something, and it's literally my Echo while I'm doing that, And it really came about, it's funny, two ways. One, we were just seeing a lot of that, and customers were saying we need a way to manage and deploy and do all of that and group things and look at specific rooms. And so Alexa for Business does all of that. But the other thing is, like, we were sitting around in Seattle, and you know how many years have probably been wasted in companies of trying to add somebody to a meeting or a dial-in number. So it's, Amazon's no different. We're all sitting around and we're like, why can't Alexa start the meeting? And then we're like, why can't she? And so that's where really this came about. So there's integration with Chime. You'll see a lot of different companies like Polycom has straight integration into conference systems. And so what's great about that is I could say, Alexa, add Paul to the meeting, and she'll realize that we were interacting, who you are. She'll realize what devices you're available on. It integrates with all the Microsoft stuff and the Google, all the calendaring suites that you may use in an enterprise environment, and figures it out. And then you could be like start the projector, all of those kind of stuff. And then there's integration with skills. So think about it. You could be like, Alexa, tell the help desk that the Wi-Fi is not working. Well, you wouldn't be able to talk without the Wi-Fi, but you know what I mean? Like the projector needs a new cable or something. But that becomes very powerful too. And so that's really, you'll see Alexa for Business. It's an AWS service, by the way. So you could check all that about AWS, and you see it in the same console and all of that, which most enterprises are familiar with using Amazon Web Services. So it becomes a very familiar product there.
Very nice. That's awesome. That's amazing. Well, I really, really appreciate your time. So this whole thing got started because Data Driven Design is hosting what I believe is the first ever voice conference in Nashville Voice Conference. And I emailed you to see if you were available, and you were already booked.
Yeah.
But you're so nice to reply and say, is there anything else I can do to help you out? So I'm wondering, what I would like to do is just kind of take a second and see if you have anything for the attendees of the Nashville Voice Conference that if you were here today, I'm going to speak now because we're going to play this at the Nashville Voice Conference.
Yeah, I would say, this is what I would say. What if I told you that you could meet your customer in the moment where they are on their own terms every day? That's really what this is all about. It's not another technology that's going to get in the way. It's not something that you're going to have to invest a lot of technical support in. It's allowing human beings to actually talk the way that we talk, think the way that we think, and the technology does what it's supposed to do, right? It gets out of the way and it just enables better connections, better types of interactions that we all have together.
That's awesome, Dave. And I will vouch for the fact that, like, I think people just need to try it. I think it's easier than they think it is to use, not only not talking just from a user of the Echo or any other Alexa enabled device perspective, but from the trying to build a blueprint, like you said. I mean, and if you're a small business owner or member of a small marketing team and you don't understand how, or maybe you don't trust that a developer can help you with building an Alexa skill, or maybe you don't think it'd be worth the investment, I would try to build a blueprint skill first, right? Because you can do that.
Oh yeah, and one of my favorites in the blueprints, we now have like integration with WordPress, And so like if you've got information, you could tie it onto an RSS feed. So it's like stuff you already have out there.
Yeah.
You know, and again, the tech's getting out of the way, and it's just enabling now people to talk with you.
Yeah, and building a flash briefing is like super,
Yeah.
you know, super simple. I mean, it's just, you just got to try it, and it's worth your time. Well, thanks so much. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And if there's any way that you are available in the future, I would love to try to hook up with you to do something together. There's the only other thing I have right now that would make sense would be we've got Data-Driven Designs presenting at Nashville Design Week. It's November 4th through the 9th. And the topic we've chosen that the Design Week people are really excited about is designing for voice. So
it's awesome.
So
yeah, keep me updated. I'd love to hear how it goes.
Okay, we'll do. Thanks again, Dave. Good talking to you.